Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 271. So we continue this kind of K assassination, Hana is the assassin arc here with this kind of training island kind of slow build, tense setup kind of episode. It definitely was a slow episode in that notable things in my mind really didn't start to happen until maybe the last 4 minutes of the episode. So you had the first half of the episode be, I think, very much like they're not building, I think, enough tension here because we very obviously know what the overall planning is here because we know all the kind of secret information. Of course, the characters don't, and we're waiting to see when they'll catch on that it's Hana who's actually behind all of this. And it's somewhat clever, I think, what Hana does with regards to the whole idea of she can handle the class relatively well. But she just needs to keep an eye out for basically the sort of sensory abilities of a few members of the class. So she immediately works on basically making that the dog is injured and is unable to track properly. So that happens right at the start of the episode. That's the first thing. The second thing is she wants to get Neon's drone out of the picture. So she has Neon go off with like Himawari and so on. And while they're using the drone, she secretly takes it out. This is where the sort of important stuff in the episode happens, in that you get to see there's a little bit of her jutsu right up in the corner of the recording right at the end, which is what they use to figure out that it probably is Hana who is behind it. Otherwise, like the main, I suppose, issue you would say with the episode is that she doesn't seem to pay any attention to Himawari having the Byakugan, which, given that she's otherwise been so detailed with what's going on, it feels weird that they didn't do that. Now, to be fair, the writers also didn't have Himawari use the Byakugan in any particular situation. So I'm assuming the excuse here is effectively just that Himawari would only use the Byakugan if she is suspicious of something, and if Hana can sort of keep Himawari from suspecting her in a specific direction, then the Byakugan, like to a certain degree, is not as big of a threat as it could be because she feels she has the trust of Himawari. But still, I feel like something should have been done to acknowledge that Himawari is kind of actually like key in this, in terms of she could just keep the Byakugan on and very much keep track of where everyone actually is. The episode up to this point, it doesn't really give any teases of like the kids being nice to her actually having like any impact on the kind of evil persona of Hana. I thought that's what they might build towards. Similarly, they didn't do anything where like the actions of the darker side in interacting with the kids, you start to see the light side beginning to maybe try and break out again. Obviously, that's, I think, what we're building towards is waiting to see what happens there that will diminish the control of this dark half, allow the other half to come out, and some sort of a resolution come from that. Beyond those specific instances, we get sort of the confrontation where Kawaki and Himawari confront Kei and Hana as they're going out searching for the kind of flower arrangement that Kei made for her. And basically what we get here is that Hana kind of realizes that, okay, they're going to basically out me as the assassin here. I've got to do something. So she just effectively reveals herself, snatches up Kei, and runs off. And this is where we get into, I suppose, do we know the full extent of like what Hana's plan is? Just because it ultimately leads up to apparently the death of Kei in a shocking but also confusing scene, because they don't show you specifically what happened. Now, I get it. If the idea is that she like cut Kei's neck, the show often doesn't really show wounds like that. But they also cut away from it like instantaneously and didn't really linger on it as like shocking death or do anything like that. Now, the preview for the next episode seems to suggest that the characters like believe Kay has died, but also have this sense of like, I can't really believe that just happened, and they're gonna like band together to, I guess, stop Hana, and we'll find out something that happened. Now the question is, if Hana's plan is ultimately just that she needs to kill Kay, why did she do it in that specific way? Okay, she grabs her, she basically runs through the forest, runs across a rope bridge, and basically she stops in the middle of the rope bridge and just stabs her neck or whatever. Why do it just there? It's a weird point. It makes it feel like she needed to do something there to sort of stop them from crossing the bridge, so she just had to act and like fake Kay's death or something like that. So it makes it feel like she more potentially needs to like capture Kay rather than just kill her like in any way possible. We'll see what goes on here, because again, the whole idea of like she did it with a kunai, but if she does have like assassination training, I assume she can carefully like stab in specific spots to make it immediately come across as being an immediate lethal blow, when actually they're just unconscious, and with like a little bit of treatment later, Kay will be okay. But that's my opinion on it right now, is that I don't think Kay is dead. I'd be very surprised if they just stuck to that and that's what happened, and that's the tragic end of this character. I think that there's been enough build up with her. She's been a focus. She is a relatively young character as well, that to me it's relatively shocking if they actually commit to this. And if they do commit to it, it feels like it's something that Hana can't really come back from. Like, even if they do some sort of a resolution, having the death of Kay on the side, even if you can explain it away as the dark side of Hana, I think that's not really something that can come back from. So I'm just eager to see what way they reverse this. Like I said, I assume they'll explain it as some special assassination technique that feigns death in some way, and that Hana just needs to bring Kay back to the land of bamboo, and will address that whole plot. Because I think at some point in this arc we have to meet like Kay's father and her brother and address what the situation, like why this is even happening in the first place, because there is a lot of fundamental information like that we still don't have in this arc yet. We get that there's some political stuff going on, and everyone else seems to be supporting the brother, but like why? What's the deal there? There are definitely things like that do need to be addressed. Beyond that, like there was some nice emotion, like especially from like Himawari, just about the idea of like she is stunned by the revelation that Hana is actually the assassin, and in a way, without getting the exact details correct, kind of figures out that it's like you're a different person now. Where's the kind of real one gone? And that's what's going to be so interesting about when will the other characters like figure out that it's a full-on alternate persona and not just that Hana feigned being the nice teacher and this is who she actually is. How will that come out? And I think the only way for that to happen is some sort of a big emotional moment allowing nice Hana to come back to the surface, and it hit the other characters that is what is actually happening. Other than that, Osaka had some extra details kind of presented about her, that she knows all this sort of survival training from some training she got while on like the set of a movie with her mother. That was a nice little detail just to highlight that, oh yeah, she of all characters in a way in the class is the one who actually is the sort of survival expert in this sort of situation, kind of a little bit unexpected. Otherwise, we don't really focus on that much of the rest of the cast. It's a weird one because like the setup seemingly involves the entire class, and it looks like they're going to bring them into play in the next episode. But for this episode, the focus was very much like the main players of the arc as we know them. Overall, I think that's everything that I want to say here. Quick note, they actually seemingly made the physical appearance difference between like good and bad Hana like apparent in this episode, in that her hair color thing switched from having the red just on the end to now it being mostly red, and it's the kind of black hair at the bottom. So they actually had that physically happen. I'm guessing she has a more powerful jutsu that maybe relates to her hair. Otherwise, I'm not really sure how that happened, like, immediately. Is it literally just that she has some sort of a, like, transformation jutsu type thing to just make her hair invert colors? I'm not sure. So yeah, they're my thoughts on this week's episode. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were, but that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.